Hey guys, welcome to my first ever YouTube channel. Yes, it's official. I'm starting it and I'm kicking it off by interviewing the UTEP men's basketball coach, Coach Terry. I'm super excited that he even agreed to do this. You have no idea how much it means to me, but the interview went awesome. We're in a beautiful space in downtown El Paso called Downtown Spaces, so stay tuned for the rest of this video. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me, Coach. Thank you for everybody watching at home. I'm here joined by Coach Terry, who is the head coach over at UTEP for the men's basketball team. And I'm so grateful for you to even take your time to do this because I already know how busy you are. So again, thank you so much.
Well, no, thank you for having me again. It's an honor and a privilege to be the head coach here. And anytime we can bring some exposure to our program and get a chance to put out our product, you never want to pass on that opportunity.
Most definitely. And first off, I want to start off with, you've been at UTEP now since 2018, but I never officially got to congratulate you. This is the first time that I'm meeting you. So let me start off by saying congratulations on the position. And of course, bienvenido al Paso, Coach.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it again. And again, it's been a quick 2 years. It really has, and anytime you're embarking on building a program, you like to think that you're going to be able to get in and get it going right away. And I think we made some positive steps, and we're on the right path and right direction right now with where we want to go and what we want to have that as the end result and everything. So, but it's been a great city to be a part of. I love living here. The people have been tremendous and great. We've had great support, and hopefully we will continue to move this thing in the direction we want.
That's fantastic. And I have to ask you, because I feel like everybody eventually gets asked this. Have you been to Chicos Tacos?
Chicos Tacos, you know what? I can't say that I have. Although we've got a ton of great eateries in town, and you don't ever want to slight anyone in terms of the places that I have had a chance to venture and eat. But no, I have not had the privilege of having those tacos.
Okay, well, you got to check them out, definitely. We'll let Andrew know so he can make the arrangements to get you some.
Okay, we need to make that happen. Chicos Tacos.
For sure. And of course, Coach, I want to go ahead and start talking a little bit about your background. So you have an extensive background in coaching, one that has garnered you years of experience. But would you say that there's a particular job that helped specifically prepare you for your role now?
Wow, that's a great question, April. I'll tell you, you start dating yourself when you start talking about the number of years that you've been coaching. I can't believe I've been coaching 30 years right now. You make you sound real old. You're like, man, I'm really old, But no, I've had some great experiences. I've worked with some really good people that helped prepare me to be a head coach. I worked with Harry Miller gave me my first opportunity at Baylor University, and there I got a chance to work along staff with Billy Gillespie and learn a lot working with Billy, and Billy had a great run here as well, and everything. But we had a good staff there. I went on from there and went to UNC Wilmington, where I worked for Jerry Wainwright, another very well-respected guy in our business, and learned a great deal from him as well. And we had a great staff there as well. Brad Brownell's the head coach at Clemson, and we had a lot of good success there as well. We had a number of postseason play at UNC Wilmington, and then I got a chance to go and join Rick Barnes' staff at Texas for 9 years, and got a chance to work with him. And I think through working with all three guys, I think they all helped prepare me to be a head coach, because every day you came into the office, they want you to think and prepare yourself to be a head coach. And they gave me a ton of responsibility. I thought my transition from being an assistant to head coach was a fairly smooth one because of all the things that I'd already done as an assistant, and I often challenge my assistant coaches to take on those same kind of responsibilities, get out and, be someone that's very visible in the community,
right.
Do a lot of speaking engagements, get in front of the camera. Don't be afraid to be in front of the camera, do radio shows. And Rick allowed me to do a lot of that in my tenure there at Texas and things of that nature. But, man, it's been a great journey. It's been a great ride. And, hopefully, I get a chance, good Lord bless, to continue to do this for a little bit longer and have an impact on young people's lives and try to, set them off on their path to have a great vision and great plan for life.
God willing, sir. And you did mention Texas. So you were at Texas back in 2002. Again, you mentioned under Rick Barnes. And it was during your time there that you had the opportunity to recruit some of the biggest names in basketball right now. Jay Augustine, Tristan Thompson, Kevin Durant. So how did your experience recruiting over at Texas, how does that translate over to your efforts here at UTEP?
Well, again, I always think recruiting again is, it's all about it's a people skill. You're selling and obviously too you have to be very genuine in your selling. Everybody wants to sell, but you can't be that used car salesman. Everybody's heard that pitch and things of that nature. I think you have to really try to develop relationships with kids. You talk about a number of those guys, but I could go back to when I was at UNC Wilmington when I first got my opportunity to go on the road and start recruiting guys. But it's all about developing relationships. Everything's about relationships. You hear that over and over again, but it really is. It's about relationships and how you interact with people and how you treat people. I always tell my guys, you want respect, you have to give respect, and it's through your actions, and people are going to see who's real and who's not real, and who they want to be a part of and who they don't want to be a part of, I always have that approach in terms of recruiting. I think for us and carry over here, I've always recruited Texas really heavily. I got a chance to go out on the West Coast and work on the West Coast and build some relationships there. But if you're a good recruiter, or if you're someone that feels like you can recruit in Alaska. It doesn't matter. You can go anywhere,
Right.
We went over to Canada. You spoke of Tristan. We went over to Canada when I was at Texas, and we recruited Canada really hard, and we had some really good players over in Canada that joined us at Texas. Tristan being one of them. Corey Joseph was a really good player for us. Micah Bongo. We had some good young players that were really kind of making their way over in Canada. And, I got a chance to know those guys when they were really young. They were freshmen. I mean, they're practically like sons to me, really, in terms of getting a chance to raise those guys. And I'm really proud of what they've been able to do and then watch their careers move forward. And, they've had a chance to go on play professional basketball. Two of those guys from Canada that are in the NBA right now, Corey and Tristan. And I just saw, it seemed like a couple of weeks ago, I saw Mike was embarking on a rapping, career, and he's a rapper now, but Mike was a really good basketball player, a McDonald All-American basketball player. But, I was curious to see his video and see what he was doing, and he's got a chance. He's got a future in that.
That's
awesome. In that game. So, but basketball has taken me all around the world. It's taken me around the country, and it's given me an opportunity to meet a lot of good people. But I've got a great staff that does a great job recruiting here. We really try to recruit Texas hard first, and then work our way out into other regions around the country, and then we even we go out of the country as well. We've got some international flavor on our team as well, and I like international, and stuff. I think it gives you a great blend to your team, and it also helps our guys identify with different cultures as well.
Exactly, and that's going to be exciting to watch. And on the topic of recruiting, what can you tell us about the incoming recruiting class for the Miners, and what is it that you expect them to accomplish this upcoming season? I'm
excited about our new guys. I mean, we've had a chance now to have about 15 practices. We're about 4 weeks in now, and you got a chance to, a lot of times, even in recruiting, you may think one thing, but you really don't know what you have until you're actually working with the guys every day. And the one thing that stuck out to me in the short amount of time and working with the class that we brought in is that our skill set's pretty good. I mean, we've upgraded our skill set in terms of shooting, passing, and things of that nature there, and just the basic fundamentals. And we needed to do that. That was a weakness of our team a year ago in terms of being able to shoot the basketball. We were an athletic team, but we weren't a very skilled shooting, passing team in that regard. And we needed to upgrade in those areas. And I feel like we have with the class that we brought in, along with some IQ. Basketball IQ is huge in understanding basketball. I mean, we were fortunate enough to get a young man from Oklahoma that's started 2 years in the Big 12, Jamal Bieniemy, 6'5" point guard who has a chance to be a terrific player, And, we brought in another point guard, Vuk, from Serbia, who is 21 years old. He's not your typical freshman, but he's played a ton of basketball at a very high level, national level. So, his skill set, and what he brings to the table right now shows that he has that experience. So we've upgraded in areas where we really needed to. In the 2 years I've been here, and anytime you're in a successful program and you're going to have a successful season, you've got to have really good guard play and really good point guard play for that matter. And I feel like both of those two guys, as they learn what we're asking them to do in terms of our system, they're going to make us really good. Christian Sholin's a 6'8", skill forward that can really shoot the basketball, and he's also going to be a young player. Still has 3 years to play. Transfer from Georgia Tech. A pleasant surprise has been Christian Agnew from North Alabama. A young man that shoots it better than we thought he would. He's a pit bull defensively and plays with a really good chip on his shoulder. Keontae Kennedy didn't play a year ago for us. He sat out. He's a transfer from Xavier, but really good young player, good basketball IQ, and I call him the X factor for our team because he's a guy last year that he was on our scout team last year and gave our team a lot of problems in practice every day, and he's a guy that we expect to play significant minutes for us this year and give us a good lift. We also signed a young kid named Adam Hess from Salt Lake Community College, 6'5", shooter. I think the thing we really tried to do, April, with this year's team, and even as we embarked on coming in here, we put a collection of talent together and athletic guys, but you have to kind of, as you build a team, you're trying to put a team together. And I think our staff's done a really good job of putting together a team. I think the kids that we've recruited know who they are right now. I left off Emmanuel White. He's another wing player that will continue to develop in our program and get stronger as well. But I think you start putting teams together in terms of what guys do and what their roles are and what we expect them to do. I alluded to the fact that Adam Hess, he's a shooter. Jamal and Vuk, those guys are point guards. They know who they are. I'm not trying to have to develop a point guard, and teach guys how to play that position. That makes a huge difference, and so, we're kind of at that stage right now in developing our program, and I feel good about that, and I feel good about the class.
I can't wait. All of it sounds so exciting, and if there's one thing about UTEP is that men's basketball has always been a big staple for the university. People love men's basketball over at UTEP, so it's going to be very exciting to watch. And I want to talk a little bit also about your 2019-2020 campaign, because that season started off, you all were 8-1 at the start of that season. What was it about that season that just sort of have everybody clicking? And how are you planning to try to get back to that place this upcoming season?
Well, again, I think, I alluded to the fact earlier that I thought we came in as a staff and we took a group of athletic, athlete guys that we still needed to really develop and try to have, those guys go through the process of developing at their positions. And this day and time, in college basketball and the landscape of college basketball has really changed, not only in college basketball, college athletics, but, there were times, in my 25 years of Division I level that the kids were really excited about developing. And embracing the process, and if a guy wasn't a point guard and didn't play point guard in high school and knew that if he wanted to make it an occupation at some point, he embraced, man, I've got a lot to learn. I've got a lot of time I've got to put in to learn this position. And, I thought we had some guys a year ago that were still developmental players that were learning a position that would help them later in the future. You can't rush the process. It's a process if you're trying to learn how to do something. You want to be really good in math? Man, I got to apply myself and spend a lot of time to be really good in math, so it just doesn't happen overnight. And some people have to work a lot harder than others. But I do think, with that being in mind, you have to get kids to buy in. And last year's team got off to a great start. And but we didn't have the buy-in that you needed to be really good. We won 17 games, and we had enough talent to win 20-plus games. But when you don't have the buy-in and understanding, hey, this is the role where I need to be a star in my role for our team to be really good. The best teams, even the teams playing right now in the bubble, they all have specific roles of what they do. Rondo's not going to come in and try to show people that he's a shooter and a scorer. Rondo's going to come in and facilitate. That's what he does at a very high level. He also brings a component or an intangible of winning. I know what it takes to win. I'm going to defend. I'm going to guard. I'm going to rebound. I'm going to do whatever it takes to win. And as a staff, I don't think I did a great job last year in terms of really getting these guys to understand how important it is to buy in and have complete buy-in to win at the level you want to win at the right time. And more importantly for us in conference play.
Right.
You know, when you have a team that's fully bought in and they truly are a team, they win those games that are in the balance. When you don't have a team completely bought in, it's really hard to win close ball games and to close out games. Close out halves, close out games, really hard to do. It's hard to do with 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And, no knock again to young people, and I don't throw any young people under the bus. I take responsibility for us not, being as good as I thought we could be a year ago. But I also think this, I don't think things happen overnight. I think it takes time.
Because you mentioned it's a process, but it's an ongoing process.
Sure. It doesn't happen overnight. I like to think that we were on a faster track here than we were there in building a program at Fresno State or even working at UNC Wilmington. But it takes time, and the fruits of your labor, if you stay with it and stay the course, right, they will work themselves out, and you can't ever worry about what people think of you. You can't worry about, well, man, coach is doing a great job or coach is not doing a great job. You just got to be you every day and be who you are. And I'm a real, big proponent of telling our guys how important it is to be everyday guys, because that's who you got to be in life. Right. You can't please everybody. And if you're worrying about pleasing everybody, you're never going to get where you want to get to.
You're wasting your time.
It's never going to happen. And you can't ever get too high. You can't ever get too low. You got to be who you are every day, no matter whether you win, lose, draw. And if you are that person and you bring that to the table every single day, man, you're going to probably be 9 out of 10 times more successful in life than not being successful.
Exactly. And I want to talk a little bit also about, again, you mentioned that you've been here only since 2018, so not very long. And with a new coach comes a new coaching style. So how has it been for you being able to implement your style and have the opportunity to create the kind of culture that you aspire this program to have?
Well, again, another great question, April. And I think in that regards, I think, you can have coming in when we literally had to come in and build a program from ground zero, which was a great challenge to take on. And I love Coach Floyd, and Tim's, had a great career and a lot of respect for him and things of that nature. But we were starting over and we were having to start from the very bottom. So, I think it's important that you try to recruit to your style the way you want to play. You may come in and want to play a certain way and you don't have the personnel to do it. So you always have to try to play to your personnel and to what you want to try to do. And I think we've really tried to. I think even with this class, we've tried to really recruit to play to the style that we want to play. We want to play fast. Everyone wants to play fast. But you have to have guys that are skilled enough that can make simple basketball plays and not beat themselves playing fast.
Right.
To embrace that. We want to have guys that put pressure on the basket, whether that's driving the basketball, and we run a driving offense, but you have to have personnel that can drive the basketball to play in the paint and want to embrace being in the paint on a regular basis, whether that's a scoring opportunity for themselves or creating some for a teammate. But we want to put pressure on the basket in transition, pressure on the basket in the half court. And then we want to try to play a really good style defensively where we're picking you up the floor with some form of pressure and then we're playing with really good pressure defense in the half court and trying to get stops and embracing being a really good defensive team and maybe even trying to get some offense from our defense, by having that style of play and playing that way.
It's going to be exciting to watch, Coach. I continue to say exciting, but because it's true. Like you mentioned, it is a process. It is ongoing. You've only been here for 2 years, and I can't wait to see what it is that you guys continue to do. But I'd like to ask you now about Bryce Williams. So he's an elite forward for the Miners, one that earlier this year was named to the 2019-2020 Conference USA first team. So as a redshirt senior and as his head coach, what type of leadership role are you expecting him to have both on and off the court?
Bryson's, he's one of those guys. You could coach 20 years, 30 years, and you're only going to have a handful of Bryce Williams, in terms of the type of character that he has and his work ethic is off the charts in terms of how hard he works. But he's been with me now for 5 years, and every year I think he's gradually gotten better and better, and he's one of those really he's one of those guys that's not a real talkative guy, so I have to try to get him out of his comfort zone and understanding how important it is at any level of professional basketball, which I think he's an NBA player and will play in the NBA. You're going to have to be able to be an unbelievable communicator on the floor at all times. And, that's one area in terms of leadership and, because Bryce is always going to be one of those guys that's going to lead by example in terms of his work ethic. He's a guy that's going to be in the gym relentlessly working on his game and steady trying to improve and get better. And he's been an unbelievable teammate throughout the course that I've had a chance to coach him. And he's never going to throw any of his teammates under the bus. He'll take a good chewing himself before he puts anyone else in harm's way. But I look for him to have a great year for us, in terms of being a leader off the floor, being a leader on the floor. He's been through it all. He's improved his game every year. He went from a guy the first 2 years at Fresno State to where I think he only attempted 4 three-point shots in his career, and last year he attempted over 80 three-point shots, and I think he made a little bit over 30. So, wow. He really improved in that area and showed guys that he could play facing the basket and make decisions, facing the basket. We know he can score 15 feet in, but I think he's a guy that has a chance to play at the next level, and he's one of those kind of talents. But he brings a lot of intangibles to the table in terms of the character piece and the kind of kid that he is.
For sure. And Coach, I want to talk about the reason why I wanted to actually set up this interview. I have to say, I'm a fan of your segment on Instagram, Terry Talks.
Okay.
I love it. Okay. Good. But my question to you is, who came up with that entire project? Whoever did it deserves a raise.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
And secondly, who have you interviewed thus far that you're like, you know what, that's been my favorite interview?
Oh, no, that's a great, I'm sitting in your chair as opposed to being on the other side, right? As the interview person, the interviewee, right? But, you know what? No, I had a couple guys on my staff that thought it'd be a great idea to reach out to former players that had played for myself or even other guys on our staff. And we thought about it in a way to where we were going to be able to give back to our guys. We said, hey, we're going to go and interview these guys, and these guys had a chance to do exactly what our guys are embarking on right now, and they've gone through all that they're going through right now, and they're going to be able to give them a perspective on how it was going for or planned for us and what it took for them to get where they are. And Darshawn was one of those. Darshawn McKellen was on my staff. He's my video coordinator. Was a guy that came up with that and said, Coach, we should interview all guys. And I said, you know what? I want to reach guys that had a chance to play professional basketball. I want guys that are doing other sectors or other endeavors that they've chosen outside of basketball, and just say, hey, you know what? Look what basketball has done for me in terms of teaching me life lessons that I'm now applying in my current position right now. And it's been a lot of fun, to be honest with you. And as I've got a chance to interview these guys, you stroll down memory lane, and not only are you talking to them and thinking about them, but you're also thinking about their teammates and guys that they played with. Right. And many times as coaches, we often say to our guys, this is the best time of your life. You're never going to be 19, 20, 17, 18 years old again. You get a chance to do this one time. So enjoy it, embrace it. But the friends that you're working with every day, they're going to be your friends the rest of your life.
They become your family.
The rest of your life. You're going to be at your weddings. They're going to be there with you. They may be your godfathers or some of your kids, but you're going to have relationships with them the rest of their lives. And the unique thing that I've heard, in talking with those guys, is they all stay in contact. Just like we said, you're gonna 20 years from now, you're gonna be talking about, hey man, TJ Ford. I remember when we were in the Hearn Center and we were playing against, Quinn Snyder's team, and boy, they had a good team, man, and they had that place rocking in there. We stole a ball game that we weren't supposed to win, but we won that. We won in that environment. And talk about that 20 years from now, and so that's been really fun, and getting a chance to reconnect with a lot of the guys, and then just trying to find some time to connect with guys. I mean, Tristan, I've known him since he was a freshman, but he's a little Hollywood right now. And he and I talk, and we've had chances to get a chance to sit down and interact. I was with him last summer, and I said, hey, I need to have you come back on this interview process and talk to our guys. And we like to give this segment to our guys to where they get a chance to see other guys that look like them and that are going through the same things right now, and have had a chance to take some cognitive things and now apply it in their lives right now and stuff. So hopefully we'll have him as a guest at some point, but he's a busy body right now, and
very busy.
Get him locked down to do it. Again, I've known him since he was a freshman in high school, and his mom and I are really good, and he's a great kid, and he's gone and done some great things.
And I like it because it definitely is a show that benefits both your players but also fans.
Sure.
Me as a person who loves the game of basketball, I enjoy watching them very much. I also get to learn a little bit more about you. But I want to go ahead and change the conversation a little bit, Coach. Right now, unfortunately, our world is at the forefront in fighting for social injustice. And it was unfortunate because I had recently heard that over the summer you had made some comments in regards to the passing of George Floyd. And then once again, the Black community had to repeat their frustrations because of the shooting of Jacob Blake. And as a matter of fact, just last week, sports were postponed, and that all started with the NBA. So as a Black man, how do you feel college basketball can assist in creating change?
Well, I think, again, we're in a position of leadership, and anytime you're in a position of leadership where you're trying to educate young men to grow into being, positive young men and men that go on to have a chance to be great fathers and great providers and great husbands, and preparing them for life outside of basketball one day. If they're lucky enough to go on and play professional basketball, I think that's great. Kudos to that. But everyone doesn't have a chance to do that. So preparing guys for the game of life is what you're always really trying to do. Teaching them professional habits, teaching them how they can hopefully go out and one day make a difference in their community and in this country for that matter. I mean, we lost a giant, yesterday in Coach Thompson.
Georgetown, correct?
John Thompson. You talk about a pioneer, you talk about a trailblazer, you talk about someone speaking up and doing things for our community in a positive way, and giving us a positive role model to see and kind of patting yourself after. I mean, his Georgetown teams, we all grew up with like, man, everybody wanted to play at Georgetown. Everyone wanted to watch Georgetown play, but you also had a guy that was in a position of leadership that also took a stand with his guys in terms of teaching them how to carry yourselves. Right. Whether it was on the court, whether it's off the court, but he also stood up for what he thought was right too in terms of some of the injustices that were going on during that time. We had Proposition 48 at that time, which again was something that Coach Thompson felt that was hindering young Black males to have a chance to go into college and continue their careers and have opportunities. And he stood up for that. He stood up for that. One game, I think he pulled his team off, or I don't want to be quoted incorrectly in terms of his actions, but he did actions instead of just talking about it. But I thought this also, he won at a very high level, so he had an opportunity and not so much forcing people to listen, but he was on a stage where people had to listen. And he brought about change, But I think, again, what the NBA is doing, I think what's some of the other leagues in professional sports are doing, rallying around one another right now in terms of their platform. The NBA didn't stop playing because if they stop playing, they lose their platform. Right. And so, obviously, we're talking about things that have happened, over the course of our country, 400 years that we're trying to address and deal with, and we've all, experienced some level of racism at some point, in our lives, and we all have stories of that, and people of color for that matter, you know what I mean? But I think it's important this day and time to have uncomfortable conversations. I have them all the time with my team. And white guys get to know black guys get to know white guys, and understand, hey, we all see things through different lenses, and we all have different perspectives on things. But at the end of the day, it's about understanding one another to get along with one another, right. and to also try to help one another. And that's what we're trying to do. And I think the thing that I've tried to echo to our team, and I think what's happening with NCAA basketball is that we're trying to say to our guys, hey, we encouraging our guys to go out and be activists, be a part of the movement, be a part of change. Your generation is going to bring along change. And obviously we've all, said enough is enough in that regards in terms of injustice, in our society. And, but it all starts with leadership. In terms of how things are executed, in terms of what you do. But what can I do right now? What can our platform in terms of NCAA basketball? We really tried to rally around, hey, get out and vote. Mm-hmm. Get out and vote. Be a part of change. Have your voice heard with your vote. Exactly. Okay, at the local level, the state level, national level. You want change? Go make change. How do you make change? Getting a chance to exercise your right to vote. And there were a lot of sacrifices, for people of color. They have a chance to vote. There were a lot of lives lost for people to vote. So, I've always been an advocate that, if you're going to complain about things, okay, you have no voice to complain if you didn't take your action to vote to make a change. So you want to complain? Vote.
Exactly. And if you don't complain.
Don't complain.
Don't complain. Okay, Coach, we're almost done. Thank you so much. We're going to finish with a little segment I like to call This or That. I'm going to give you 2 options, and you just pick. Okay. Nike or Adidas?
Nike.
Sweet or salty?
Sweet.
Text or call?
Wow, that's a great one. How about a combination? No, I'm still old school. I like to call.
Okay. Instagram or Twitter?
Wow, man, Well, I'm more of a Twitter guy than I am an Instagram guy, but I mean, I understand this generation, so I'm gonna go Twitter for me.
Okay, Twitter. Hamburger or taco?
Wow, I like it. I think I'm going to go to hamburger.
Hamburger, awesome. Okay, Coach. Well, thank you so much for taking the time again to interview with me. I got you a little gift.
Okay.
Once a minor, always a minor.
Absolutely.
So you got to rep the gear, but
Absolutely.
that doesn't mean you can't rep a little G League team every now and then.
For sure.
So I went ahead and got
thank you
this,
so much.
Coach.
I appreciate that.
Yes, and again, thank you so much. Thank you for everybody who tuned into this YouTube channel today to check out my interview with Coach Terry. He's going to have an awesome season. I already can imagine what it's going to turn out to be. Once the schedule is released, when is your schedule?
Well, we've actually already put it out right now. Now we're just kind of waiting
awesome.
to kind of see the time frame or the timeline in terms of when college basketball is going to start. We may lose some of those games that we have scheduled to this point right now. We just don't know. There's a lot of uncertainty with that. But I like to piggyback on, minor fans. Hey, just stick behind us. Again, nothing's built overnight. We're working hard every day. We embrace the tradition. We want to build on the tradition here, and we feel like we have a collection of staff and players that want to be great and want to bring and make our program relevant again.
Of course, and season ticket holders continue to support the university, and I'm going to put all of those details in the description where they can buy season tickets, the link to the university so they can see the schedule online, everything. Your Instagram handle, when is your next Terry Talks coming out?
Well, we're working on that. We're trying to track a couple guys down between our schedule and their schedule, just trying to coordinate another good one and stuff. It's pending a little bit right now. But I would also be remiss to say that we also have great leadership on our campus from top to bottom. And anytime you're talking about building a really successful, whether it be basketball program, football program, you have to have great leadership and support from your administration. And we have that from the top, and Dr. Wilson, she's been tremendous along with Jim Center. So we're fortunate and lucky to have great leaders on our campus, and I'm lucky to work for people that share our same vision, that want to put us back on the national scene.
Wonderful. Thank you again, Coach. God bless you.
Thank you.